morning, everyone. Welcome to Coffee Talk. We are your hosts, the Southborough Youth and Family Services Department. My name is Sarah Castle. I am the Director of Southborough Youth and Family Services. And as usual, I have my sidekicks with me. We have Megan Island, who's our Assistant Director. Good morning, Megan. We have Shannon Knyman, who is our Program Coordinator. Good morning, Shannon.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning, and we're so excited to welcome Tove Maren. Tove, I'm not even going to attempt to say, is Maren your last name? You have another?
No, that's just my middle name.
That's your middle name?
Yes.
How do you say your last name?
Stakkestad.
Stakkestad. See,
yes,
I can do it. Not too bad. That's great. Tove is here. Well, I'll get to what Tove is here to talk to us about in a second, but in preparation for today, it's the end of the calendar year. And for many, that means traditions, holidays of some kind. We have Christmas coming up this upcoming week for many families, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. I have a list here because there's so many things happening this time of year.
Right.
Winter solstice, which I think we just were celebrating. Was that just yesterday?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New Year's is coming. Three Kings Day, Diwali, which was about a month ago, and Ashura. And just in general, the winter season brings about some features of a philosophy that we're talking about today, and everybody's anticipating my attempt to say this word, Hygge.
Nice.
How'd I do?
Good. Great.
Awesome. So Tove is going to be talking about that with us more, and I'll be honest, it was a philosophy and a word that I had never heard before today's show. So I'm really excited to hear more about it and hear about Tove's background. But before we go there, and I have an actual cup of coffee because we have a new coffee maker in our office. Let's toast. Good morning.
Morning.
Oh, Shannon, we have matching mugs.
All right.
Oh, so cute. Oh, and Megan, is
Megan
yours
has a pet
quilted mug?
painting on. Yeah.
I like a little.
Oh, that's cute.
Oh.
Yeah, it's my mug has a sweater today.
Oh,
My
'Cause it's
mug is
not warm
cozy
enough?
too.
like it.
Great.
I like
I
it.
love that. Does it make it slippery though? Like I'd be worried that I would, no?
No, it's okay. It wraps around and
Mhm.
I don't know. I just thought it was very fitting for our theme today.
Absolutely.
I think so.
Did somebody make that for
Perfect.
you?
No, someone bought it for me.
Oh, that's a
Yeah.
perfect Megan gift.
Yeah.
Megan, you should have said you made it. And
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yes.
But then I
Yes,
wouldn't, my brother who got it, he could be watching the show and he'd be like, no, I gave that to her. So.
That's funny.
And it's good that Sarah is drinking the coffee today because that is very, very Hygge.
Yeah, I heard that. That's why I made it a priority. Christina just ran through the tutorial with me because it's not like our old coffee maker ladies. Just some extra steps. It was a little complicated, but I have coffee and I'm happy.
Yeah.
So this is something we in Denmark would call Hygge kaffe.
Oh,
Okay.
Yes.
Hygge
Hygge coffee.
Hygge kaffe?
Yeah, kaffe. But yes,
Kaffe,
Hygge coffee.
okay.
Yes, this
Nice.
is what that is.
Well, so Tove, you just gave us a little insight then as to what Hygge is all about. Shannon, I know you were gonna do a little introduction here because you were the one that brought up the idea to have this topic today, and we're so excited about.
Yep. So one of our previous episodes that we had recently, because it's so, together, we're talking about eating disorders, and we had nurse practitioner Susie Allen on the show. And Susie is a good friend of mine, and she came to a book club about 4 years ago, and she was like, guys, we all need to learn about this because this is like amazing and wonderful. And it was around that time that I think it first infiltrated the UK and then kind of came here after that. And I think one of the things, and Tove, you can interject at any point, that like, I feel like, so for Denmark, it's like the happiest country in the world.
Yes. Yes. One of the happiest. They keep ranking one of the
Right.
happiest countries in the world.
Right. And I think Americans were like, it's all Hygge. And I think it's a little bit deeper than that. You know, so there's like, you know, socialized medicine is a part of Danish life. College is free there. Childcare is highly subsidized. People are very trusting.
Yes, that's true. You have maternity leave for the first year, and then your childcare is subsidized, and your education is free, your higher education. But of course, you pay through your taxes, so it's not free per se, but it is a completely different way of life in Denmark. And like I always tell people that say, "Oh, but why can't we have that here?" It works for them in Denmark. Our American way would not work over there, just like their system, the way it's set up, probably wouldn't work here either. It's just a different mentality, but we can take some little bits and pieces from each other's cultures. And just like, you know, they love America and they use American slang and American expressions, you know, we can take some of the things from their culture and infiltrate it here and make it work for us.
Yep. And the part that we seem to really love is the Hygge part. Right?
Yes.
I was just going to say, I was looking at our list of questions here. So can we just ask Tove to give some background? It sounds like you are from Denmark.
Yes, I grew up in Denmark. I'm actually, I was born in America, but that's not as sexy. So I grew up in Denmark. My dad was American, my mom was Danish. So we moved to Denmark when I was 2, and I lived over there my entire childhood till I was 18.
Wow.
So Denmark is, Hygge in Denmark, it's just part of your everyday life. It's not something that's taught. It's not like we sit down and now we're going to teach you about Hygge. We don't have to have a Facebook Live to talk about it. It's just something you do. It's just ingrained in the culture. So Hygge coffee, having friends come over for a cup of coffee and some Danish pastries, because they're in Denmark. It's really a thing over there. You just sit down. The pace of life over there is slower. You value your friendships and just sitting down and hanging out and having a Hygge talk, wearing your Hygge bukser. That's those black yoga pants some of you are probably wearing. I know I'm wearing mine right now. And sorry, Shannon.
Hygge jeans.
Yep. Yeah, Hygge jeans could work too. And in your house, you probably have like a Hygge corner with, you know, your big comfy chair, your throw pillows that end up on the floor eventually, by the fireplace with the candles. So Hygge is just a way of life. And I remember when my mom used to come over here and visit, she's like, "Oh my God, you guys, you run around so fast. You're everywhere. Slow down." And they really do just live a slower pace of life. You know, meals take longer because you got a Hygge, right? You got to sit down and talk about things. And, you know, guys go out to cafes together and just Hygge, you know, it's truly a way of life. So the way I describe it to people is Hygge can't be translated. It has to be felt. And I think that really just explains it the best way possible. You know, it Hygge as a word, it's a verb and it's an adjective. So, you know, it's something we do, but something can also be hyggeligt. And it's really a value we place on things in Denmark. It's just savoring simplicity, and in Denmark it's a lot about savoring. Like the Italians, they sit down for their meals. In Denmark we sit down, we have our coffee, and just hygge in the moment. Yes.
I love it.
I'm
It sounds
feeling
like
it right now.
it sounds like it's a noun too. So
Yes.
you can hygge as a verb. You can describe something as, what was it? Hyggeligt.
Yeah.
Like,
Very
do it.
good.
And then and also a noun. And I love your description that it's not something you can, I forget what you said, that you can teach, but rather something that you have to feel.
Yes.
Yeah. That's great.
So you use Hygge in your blog. So you are a blogger.
Yes.
You have the blog Mama in the Now.
Yes.
And you use it as in your writing, in your parenting. Can you tell us a little bit about your blog?
Yes. So here I have my blog. I've had it since 2013. Mama in the Now, not Mama in the Know, because we know no mom is in the know. And then here in 2020, because didn't have anything else to do, I started another blog called Hygge in the Now. So I'm a mother of 4 boys, and that's what my first blog is about, really about parenting, but I do not claim to know what I'm doing. And I think that makes me relatable, because, with 4 boys, I don't know what I'm doing. It's just fly by the seat of your pants type of thing. And then my other blog, Hygge in the Now, it's going to focus more on hygge, but also crafts for women, because being a mother of 4 boys, I love to craft, but something happens when I pull out the paints and the paintbrushes, they all scatter to the wind, all my boys. So I'll have crafts for women to do, or people who just like to craft, things like that. And then hygge for the home as well. With both of my blogs, I have Facebook groups, and I use hygge in there too, because hygge is something you do in Denmark as a community. And one thing, it's like an unspoken rule: you don't bring up controversial subjects. You don't talk about politics. You don't talk about religion, if that's going to be a hot button topic. No vaccines or anything like that. When you sit down to hygge, you share about your life, but you don't put things on edge. It's just really keeping a positive atmosphere. And that's what I do as well in my blog. I don't post about everyday topics that could divide people. And the Facebook groups I have, other bloggers are always complimenting me, and I don't know how I got so lucky, but I have some of the best audiences. We're from all walks of life, from all over the world, and never anything negative, never anything political or anything like that. We're just sharing about motherhood, laughing about what our kids do. And that's also what I try to bring into my parenting as well. Obviously, we do talk about big things, because you have to do that. But it's, like I like to say, hygge is really the glue that's keeping our family together, especially during this time. To prepare for this today, I asked my 2 oldest boys, they're 14 and 12. I said, hey, what do you like to do with me the most? What is it we do that makes you the happiest? And my oldest, he's 14, he said, you know what? That 1,000-piece puzzle we started to make yesterday, I really enjoy that. That's really cool, Mom. Okay. And then the other kid, I said, what is it that we do that you really enjoy? Our walks, definitely our walks. I love them. And so those are hygge things. Those are definite, that's no screen involved. And trust me, my kids get plenty of screen time. So it's not like we're a no screen family or anything, but the things that truly matter to the kids are opportunities for hygge, where it's either one-on-one or as a family, board games, things like that, just bringing things back to basics. And that's how I bring Hygge into my parenting, and just really, to me, Hygge is also about mindfulness and being present in the moment, and that's where Mama in the Now comes in. And that's very important to me, being present in the moment when I'm with my kids. And trust me, I don't do that all the time. I do grab for my phone. I'm not perfect, but I also try to pull myself out and say, okay, no, he's sitting right here. He looks like he has something to talk about. You should probably ask him about that. So, and I think that's where we could all benefit from bringing Hygge into our lives, just being present in the moment, even, if the moment's a little uncomfortable, but, being present for our kids. That's how I bring Hygge into my parenting and my blogs. And so it was just really, really cute the way my kids, the 1,000-piece puzzle. That was really important to him.
That's so great. I love that. It sounds like just the pace. Oh, that's really, I'm sighing in reflection to that some of the idea of going for a walk and doing a puzzle. I have 2 boys at home too, who are 5 and 8. And I feel like, it's even when we're not going anywhere, I feel like the pace inside our house is just nuts. And so it would be really cool to introduce some more activities that slow things down a little bit.
I wish puzzles for me. They make me a little kooky. Like I get pretty intense, and it makes me really stressed. So maybe I should bring some of
this
that.
image of Shannon flipping the table over with puzzle pieces. Fine, you do it.
No, it's more like I get up before everybody else, and then I sit down with the puzzle, and then it's 2 hours later, and I'm just kind of like this, and the kids were like, we thought we bought that to do together, and I'm like,
I have this section.
Yes.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, so that it's really cute because we're in the greater Seattle area out here, and every morning our kids, since March, they've been doing online school. Every morning, Mom, what are we doing today other than school?
Oh.
Nothing. I really mean it, nothing. Okay, yes. And they're just so happy. So yeah. So and since we have been home for so long, bringing Hygge into the home has also been very important to us, and I think that's something a lot of people, probably without knowing, have been doing while they've been sheltering in place. I know me personally, I started out with 10 plants. And at last count, I was at 136. Don't tell my husband. You see this big Mac Daddy back there. Plants is something that brings Hygge into your home. So if people are interested in, I want more Hygge in my life, plants is where it's at. I've been forbidden by my therapist to buy more plants, but she didn't say I couldn't propagate. So joke's on her.
I know that was going to be one of our questions also. We wanted to ask you about parenting with Hygge, but also about bringing that into your home. So as you just said, many of us are probably already doing that. But beyond plants, do you have other suggestions for ways that, or examples you could give of Hygge in the home?
Oh, sure. So sometimes Hygge is confused with minimalism. because scan design is a very minimalistic look, and there are some similarities, definitely, but in a Hygge home, I feel sort of, if it sparks joy, keep it. So if you have a collection of, say, gnomes, somebody might have an insane amount of gnomes around their house.
I'm pointing at Megan, which you can't see, but Megan.
I see some of them.
Okay.
Megan
see?
collects owls.
Okay. Yeah. On the coffee mug, the little sweater mug.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you have collections and they just sort of bring you happiness and bring you Hygge, by all means, keep those things. It's not about, having a bare place, but rugs, blankets, throw blankets, anything warm and cozy that can also add some texture to your home. Light colors, bright walls, clean lines, candles. Lots of candles. I see your Christmas tree there in the background, Sarah. In Denmark, we take it a step further. We have real candles on our tree. So I was super cool growing up because we had one strand of electric lights, and my friends were like, what is this craziness? She has electric lights on her tree. She does not have a bucket of water next to the tree in case it bursts into flames. Like, crazy, right?
Wait, Tove, can you imagine with your 4 boys having no, right?
No, just no, I can't.
Yeah.
Or the 2 huskies. No,
Right.
I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're actually worse than my boys.
That doesn't sound Hygge. That sounds very anxiety provoking.
Yes, exactly. So
That's cool, though.
lighting and candles, just anything that just sort of makes you want to sit back and slow down, read a book, cozy up. Those are all elements of Hygge in a home. But just things that just really make you happy. Like I said, my collection of gnomes. My kids are like, what is it with this, Mom? It's starting to creep us out. But they bring me happiness, little bearded old men throughout my house.
Right.
It's totally normal.
So funny.
Is there a word to, like, clothing can be Hygge? So Sarah has on her.
I wanted to wear something more like red or green. I stood in front of my closet today and I had a conflict because this is not, for the holiday that I celebrate with my family, which is Christmas, this is not really Christmassy colors, but I had Hygge in mind.
I love it.
This is one of my favorite fleeces because I wish my office wasn't so hot, actually. So I'm actually like dying to take it off.
Sarah's about to pass out.
But it's so soft and thick, and I love this fleece as an example.
Just the Hygge books, the Hygge pants you wear, the black yoga pants or the jeans, big fluffy cardigans and, your fleece, things like that. A lot of scarves, brings just anything that brings warmth and comfort to you is which is why I love where we live, the Pacific Northwest, because the weather sort of just brings out your Hygge wardrobe just naturally.
Right.
Yeah.
And like,
go ahead.
Hygge too, from a Danish, like that Scandinavian part of the world, the weather is totally different. Yesterday we celebrated the solstice, so the days get dark and it's going to be cold and dark, and that's like nothing compared to over there, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. Definitely. So actually where we are in the Pacific Northwest, it's a lot, at least like Denmark, where I'm from, the weather is a lot. It's very wet. Very wet, rainy. Yesterday, actually, we got our first snow, but it's already gone. So, and that's sort of how it snows in Denmark too. We'll get maybe a snowstorm or two a year, but never, like burying our cars or anything. Of course, they don't have that many cars. They ride their bikes. Um, but yeah, the colder weather, it's all just very conducive to Hygge. It's the time of year where you're just meant to slow down, start hibernating, really, just bringing things inside. It's like I like to tell myself there's a season for everything. There's a season to be outside, run around, be free, get exercise, and then there's a season to just bring it more inside and just slow down, and that's the season we're in. And that's also why to many people Hygge is synonymous with winter and the colder months. And
is that the climate in Denmark year round, or is it that you have a winter season in Denmark also?
It's the winter season in Denmark.
Okay.
They do have summer, and it's beautiful. It's not as hot as over here. It's not as humid as in the States. So they do have the 4 seasons, and so nothing in Denmark really is extreme. Over here in the States, you can get like a heat wave. A heat wave to them in Denmark is maybe like, woohoo, 80 degrees, but it's not going to be much higher than that. It'll just be for
I think it's like 86 in here right now.
Yeah. It's funny because their weather over there, they don't have hurricanes, they don't really have tornadoes, just no extremes of any kind. But and so the winters are fairly mild, but they are dark. It does get dark around 3:30. Like this time of year, around 3:30, it's dark, and then the sun doesn't come up till like 8:30. So there's a lot of darkness, and it does take some getting used to. It truly does.
Yeah.
Tove, we have time for probably one more question. I know Megan had maybe our last question to ask you to get your personal opinion.
Yeah, so we are talking about how Hygge isn't necessarily just for the holiday season. But we're wondering, what are your favorite parts of the holiday season, even though Hygge isn't just related to that?
Well, I have to say, right now, it's funny. So we celebrate Christmas, and I have bought all the presents. I have wrapped all the presents, and so this is really like my high point, my high season right now. Just I have nothing to do. This right here, getting up and getting makeup on my face. Wow. But that's it, then I can just spend time with my kids. It's just really, taking the dogs for a walk, being out with the kids. That's really my favorite part of the season, not having anything to do. We can't see family this year due to COVID. So it's just the 6 of us. And thankfully we have a large family, so 6 is plenty. But this is really my high season, I have to say.
In thinking about this episode, that was one thing that was part of our conversation about how, yes, this year is a lot different for many families, and an adjustment, and there's some disappointments for some people. But in some ways, we can really embrace Hygge in our homes and with our families, because we have to slow down. We're not going to be getting dressed in our sweaters, our matching sweaters, and have to be to Aunt so-and-so's house by a certain time and then rush out the door to this other place. I mean, it's really going to be about being together and just experiencing the day from beginning to end with one another, which actually, might feel uncomfortable for some people. And there might be some disappointments about what they are missing out on this year. But what a great topic for us to be talking about as something for us to appreciate and try to practice, because we really do need to be more mindful, be more present for each other, for ourselves. There's a lot to appreciate there.
Definitely. And I feel like a lot with Hygge is about also perspective on things. Saying, I have to stay at home. That's got a negative connotation, but I get to stay at home. That's pretty positive, right?
That's great.
I get to spend the holiday just with my little family and my mother-in-law. That's a positive
spend
thing.
the day with my mother-in-law.
Yes.
Which can be great. It can be great.
And that could be great too, and it's really about perspective and just appreciating what you have. It's a lot of, about, especially about Christmas is commercial and about the materialistic things, but focusing more on just the quality time that we get to spend together it definitely helps me through these darker days and darker times right now. And just, wow, when will I ever see my 14-year-old as much as I do now?
Yep.
Probably never,
Right.
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 Love it.
That's great. What a great way to end the episode. So Hygge is many things, including perspective, and whatever holiday any of you who are watching are celebrating, or if you're just experiencing winter, we hope that it's a Hygge time for you and your family. Thank you, Tove, for coming on today. It was such a pleasure to meet you, and
Yes.
what a great introduction to this philosophy. And I'm sure many of us intend to learn more about it and see how we might be able to practice it more. We are actually taking a break next week. Many of us are going to be on vacation or just slowing down a little bit. So we are taking a break next week. The next time we will be on Coffee Talk is Tuesday, January 5th. And we're going to be talking about behavior change and New Year's resolutions, because it's the season. So we hope you'll join us for that. And Tove, thank you again for coming on today.
Thank you for having me. It's been great. Thank you.